Chronicles TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
Kazuma, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either. But on the other hand, Kazuma is in the habit of making up stories. I had such a terrible sense of foreboding. If something awful had happened to Judge Jigoku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped in the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were careering towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear? Of course! The little Mr. Sholmes doll that Iris gave us. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull little Hurley's ears as hard as you can. Perhaps now is the time? What should I do? Here goes then. I'm going to do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo. No looking back. Heave! Ow! That's green. Sound like Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes? Where are you? Here, my dear fellow, here! It's like the doll talking. Pull the air again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright then, I'll put my strength into it. Heave! Ow! Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull off my ear. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse. Then the SS Grouse? She left over last night after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again half an hour. You've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic powers, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port. In order to board this vessel in time. So you mean you already worked it out? At the steamship was everything really took place? Mr. Naruhodo, pray what is my name? Herlock Sholmes? World famous great detective? Recite the perfection, well done. You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it. Ow, 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 ow. Mr. Sato, gently with the genius ear, please. Oh my, ever so sorry. If I may, Sholmes. Ah, there you are, Mikotoba. You may remember that it was in fact I who made the connection to SS Grouse. At Scotland Yard yesterday when we examined that notebook, I recall my steamship ticket. But of course, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our own court-bound companions utter my name. Yes, you did, didn't you? We just enter a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now. If we're unable to present any new leads then, I'm afraid to say. Do not fret, please. It's for precisely the purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt we shall welcome news within the half hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later, then? Yes, you'll be hearing us from when you're in touch. Ow, 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 ow. I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear in the men's fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver operate in that way in the first place, Sholmes? Why, the deuce would I know? It's Iris' invention, not mine. So we're playing as Mikotoba, then. Unless I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes. We have but the half an hour now before the Grouse puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigation rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikotoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let's begin. Hey, it's the big guy. First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. But I don't believe in investigation of the cabin. Oh, there's going to be plain sailing. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow.
Why are you alerting me here? Who are you?
My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you?
Do you not recognize world-traveling great seller chicken stroganoff when you see it?
Hey, Sholmes.
Great detective? Huh, I don't think so.
Do you see that, Mikotoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine.
Goodness me, is that a tattoo that says Sholmes?
I must say, while such adoration is flattering, naturally it does leave me a little cold.
What are you talking about? Leave now!
How distressing. My lord devotee knows me only by name, not by appearance. And yet I know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Currently traveling the world abroad, Russian steamship, in fact.
How could you know this?
Elementary, my dear Mikotoba.
I'm sure it was.
3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, and by the name Jigoku.
There is no one with name in this board. But we know he purchased a ticket to this passage. Ah, you mean the Eastern man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here on Dunkirk, he said something about an emergency, I think. What are you sure? So she should realize that they were after him as he...
Well, his cabin is the one behind you. We should to investigate, please.
No, I have orders to not even a mouse inside.
Mikotoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse that he leaves the area. Chicken stroganoff.
Those are great detective, see? That even sailors have ears, both left and right.
Curses! The plan is ruined!
And you have only yourself to blame, afraid, Sholmes? Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even I am not here. You cannot get inside.
Mikotoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you?
Opening any lock?
Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you be so kind to inform me the requisite time, old friend, on your typical accompanying matter.
How can I refuse such a typical appealing request, old friend? So I need to distract the burly sailor in 5 seconds, do I?
Good man. So, the game is afoot. That thing right there. What's this?
Ah, the switch for the electrical lights. Perhaps if I were to turn off the lights, the crewmen wouldn't be able to see what we're doing. Ah, what is happening? Where is light? Now, Sholmes, now! Huh, nobody there. That was a close shave.
Quite a knack you have, something so violently in an apparently empty corridor.
Do be quiet, Sholmes. I shall have to think of another approach.
Okay, that was like the first thing, but I'm like, nah, it's gonna stop us right there.
So it appears to be an alarm bell. All hell will break loose if that thing were to break. Here goes to then. Pardon me, Vance. You! What are you doing? If we're at sea, that would be a very bad problem. Sorry, sir. Nothing to report. It was just a stupid trick. No, not by me. By a well-fed... No, as I told you. Now, Sholmes, now!
Done! Not even 5 seconds.
Not even 5 seconds, eh?
Oh, don't stand there copying my brilliance, Mikoto. In we go!
Oh, yes. The heck happened here? Good gracious.
It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly.
Those clothes on the floor there. They're Seishisho's without question.
Well, it seems we're just a little too late.
Yes, by about 2 hours.
Still, well, as we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may be, well, 2 hours worth of clues to find in.
But that burly crewman may return at any moment, Sholmes.
Indeed he may, which makes this all the more thrilling.
What the heck is this? There's a speaking tube here, look. Though it seems stoppered with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen of Rich aren't an annoyance, I suppose.
Or indeed, so that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere.
Could something have happened here that was no one else's ear, do you think?
Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering.
That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? The wall is slightly different color than just here, do you see?
Indeed, what you observe arises when a frame that has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief.
Now, there's a bold deduction worthy of great detective, I'm sure.
He may very well be a elusive thief who has been plaguing Francis' galleries of late.
I think perhaps we should focus our attention elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall. I feel that I might spot something of a similar shape and size elsewhere. These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in the cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes. Blah 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 blah. Right now.
I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination.
What about the fact they're not just straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you?
You may be right. Probably just your imagination, though. A trifle. And you know that I always say, Mikotoba, there is nothing important about trifles.
That's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be sliding off.
Oh, come on, we're not gonna... Okay. That's a very sizable trunk indeed. Seishisho is partial.
Seishisho is partial to all things large.
And rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he left that behind.
Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you think, but still a hindrance of a speedy escape.
Pity. It's locked, so he can't look inside.
Surely 5 seconds from now, the situation will be quite different, though.
Sadly not. It has 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present.
According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself as Asagi's wardrobe.
Indeed he was, and it was a similar size to this one. Ah, you must climb yourself, my dear fellow.
What? Whatever for?
It was the site of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. This will only take a moment.
Really, Sholmes? Surely you cannot just tell me what you said.
Well, I uttered some brilliant remark and opened the room door to reveal the stowaway murderer. I think I'll just read about it in...
I'll read about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here how it is.
Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trailed off.
Ice, Mikotoba, ice. What opulence the first-class passenger enjoy? Chilled drinks.
Pardon?
Could it be that this steamship is equipped with an electrical refrigeration cold room, do you think?
Well, it's a luxury liner after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as ice. On our order voyage from Japan, we enjoy culinary delights from all over the world.
Suddenly, Mikotoba. The sight of you is making my mouth water.
I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know.
So, he's like, where's the refrigeration?
This is the waste paper basket, look, and there's still rubbish inside.
Indeed, then let us pry. I discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets.
I set it up only for your work. Ah. Here we have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago. 3 days ago? Not before we arrived in London then? When I was still abroad by myself? Following departure from the port deck, all crew members... I didn't even read the entire thing! Oh yes, there was an evacuation drill. I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. So it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. You are still here? Ah, able seaman strong enough. Hello again.
I was beginning to think you never materialize.
Huh? You are waiting for me?
Of course! I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity farceuter.
I was in trouble with Captain because of your trick you played before. Poor innocent chicken. It's all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off now.
Of course! We shall disembark presently, my dear fellow. But first, there's something that must be done.
No. What are you talking about?
Why, naturally. The debunking of your deceit and the barring of the truth.
Cockcoy. Cockcoy?
I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jigoku has not left the vessel. And for another, my dear seaman Stroganoff, you know exactly where the man is, even as we speak, don't you?
How can you? Good gracious, Chunks. You mean you've worked it out? All of it?
It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less? So, would you care to join me for a dance of my immediate logical and reason?
Here we go. It's gonna be a long one. Nothing would please me more. What is this?
We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now? Time is the essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago.
Duh! That is what I said.
Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in the room that's quite clearly contradicts it.
What? Ah, yes, of course.
I see you've noted too, Miss Mikotoba. Then please do take the lead. What in the cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours ago? Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observational skills, Mikotoba.
It's about 10 years since we last did this, Sholmes. Did not 3.
Why, of course it has, quite. Now, all the clues are here in the cabin for your eyes to see. But as I say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe, and the answers become clear. So, impress me.
I think I can manage that.
Why does this cabin show impossibility to disembark 2 hours ago? The ice?
Take that!
Yo!
Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass.
How curious that the ice shouldn't have melted despite it had abandoned 2 hours ago. It would appear that the man was here in this very cabin until moments before our arrival, with this well-chilled glass in hand.
Get your mind off the refreshment, Sholmes.
One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff?
But why would Seishijo run from us?
Before we consider the question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that the first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you, Mr. Jigoku, and you were accommodated for your voyage from Japan?
Ah, that's right. They are. I was in the cabin next door, and Seishijo was, yes, 15 days in this very cabin during our voyage. As I suspected, from you see,
there are traces in this cabin of dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide.
What traces? I know nothing about this.
Ah, this is news to you, isn't it, Mr. Stroganoff?
Sholmes, what exactly are you getting at?
As I said, there are traces in this cabinet of some nefarious activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure you won't accept your notice.
Sometimes something out of place in here. The key to this, Mikotoba, the remnants of the dark deed that took place in here, being masked by something quite incongruous.
I must say, I didn't foresee ever doing the dance of deduction with you again, Mr. Mikotoba.
No, quite. But my life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we well know. Now then, let's see if I can uncover the truth here.
Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow.
This?
Take that!
It's the rules of passage in the frame here. They're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall as if they were pulled in a hurry.
Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded. That frame was originally over here. The shape and size are a perfect match.
Ah, you're all right. When did the frame move?
Hardly the most observant of crewmen are you, Mr. Stroganoff. I would think your captain is quite justified in having this reservation about your reliability.
Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve.
So, Mikotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall?
That looks like a bullet hole. What? Who has been shooting walls?
I see, the projectile has been removed. Clearly the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff, I have the distinct impression that you're attempting to shield said occupant.
I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern Stranger?
Ah, so we're talking about the same man, I see. Good. I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep up this pretense as clearly shown by...
I really don't know how to approach this one, Sholmes.
Ah, my dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle, and I'm quite sure that you'll see. In fact, I'll put a wager on it. I'm to glare at the fellow from all sides, well, I can certainly do that. Whatever is he looking? Hey, what's this? Yo, back it up.
Take that!
Oh, it's almost too obvious for words.
Quite. The universal language of the world. Money.
Banknotes. I wager the Eastern fellow in question is Seishisho Jigoku, yes? So I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice. What?
I believe you know, Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Mr. Jigoku is hiding at the precise moment in time. As always, Mikotoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally.
Yes, I think you're onto something there, Sholmes. You found that chink in Burley's furlough armor.
We need only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minute delayed blink, nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible.
You could hardly call this perceptible, Sholmes. The man's turned his entire head. It's not entirely what you expect to describe a furtive glance. It's almost too obvious.
We shall let your tapping toes decide, my dear fellow.
Where is he looking?
Yo, chill on that. Is he looking more down?
Take that!
You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you? The truth is, Seishisho Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is at this very moment doing his best to stifle his breath inside the trunk. If he still has breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air. I imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible. But how can we? Are you forgotten the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code. The combination lock can't be opened from the inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement or something to open after our departure. Of course. In short, before Jigoku hid himself inside that trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number. Oh, that's what the Shomes is for. So I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganoff. 5, 4, 0, 1, 3. Don't move a muscle, my good seaman. Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk? How on earth do you expect me? It's a 7-digit number, remember? Quickly now, we have a little time. Shomes. How do you spell Shomes? Shomes. Okay, we got 5, 4, 0, 1, 3. Is that a 9 or it's a 9? What? 5, 4, 0, 1, 3. I'm thinking it's a 9, but Shomes? A 2? I don't know. Is it supposed to be another 3? Five? Because if we're spelling out Shomes, we have another E, so.
Take that!
Please tell me. No, it refusing to open. Tell me, what number did you use? Well, to begin with, I thought I'd try my birthday. What? Your birthday? Interesting, since as I thought, but that abuse of guesswork, you're dead to me. As measured as ever in response, Shomes. Okay, we get the 5, 4, 0, 1, 3. It's that E right there. What's the E supposed to be? I don't get it. Is it supposed to be a 2? We got 5, 4, 0, 1, 3. What the E? What's that supposed to be? A 2? That's all I'm thinking of.
Take that!
That's not it either. It's the last pit. It's the last thing. It's the last thing that's confusing me right there. It's the last thing right there that's troubling me. We got 5, 4, 0, 1, 3. We already crossed out 2. We already crossed out 3. 0?
Take that!
That's... Oh my god, we're just trying all of it now.
Take that!
It was backwards. The answer was backwards. The answer was freaking backwards.
That did it. It's open. You got your medal, didn't you? Well, Eugene, you found me now. Seishiro.
but the answer was backwards.
I was really hoping beyond doubt not to find you here. But you're not entirely unsurprised, I take it. No, quite. I just wish it were some other way.
Well, are you ever going to introduce me?
Ah, your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I read stories of many of your exploits. Excuse my matter, Sholmes. This is Mr. Jijigoku, my old friend and traveling companion.
The devil's indeed. Details, Mekotoba. I believe you meant to say your old friend and traveling companion, who made the cowardly decision to flee the country without a word to anyone when things turned sour.
I see my reputation precedes me as well. What an honor. Well, Seishiro, are you going to explain all this? You know all of it by now, I imagine. What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, on the night before I arrived on Britain, an attempt was made on my life here on this very ship. By the Reaper of the Bailey? Yes, I've heard. Because you were once prosecuted by the Reaper, weren't you? 10 years ago? And I had no idea at the time what a dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived in London to fund the symposium, was postponed until goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again. So you decided to flee the capital without saying a word to me about it? I'm afraid so, yes, of course, I realize now. But I really ought to have confided in you.
It's somewhat surprising, I must say.
What is it?
Well, first-class cabins of our luxury steamships are in very short supply. It's more than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available.
So says the protagonist of some colorful short stories. Well, I don't care for your opinion. The cabin did just happen to be available, so I purchased a ticket, and here I am. I've just seen myself with the obvious remnants of the incident in this cabin, so you already purchased your return ticket before we even docked in Dover, had you? To prevent anyone else taking the cabin and seeing the evidence, is that it? Eugene, I have nothing to say to you.
Well, in mere 5 minutes, the ship will set off its onward voyage and make port again until Italy. I'm afraid we must insist that you disembark with us at once.
You have no jurisdiction over my movements. We have this, Seishiro. Take it. What is it? It's a subpoena from the Old Bailey. You're a man of the law. You know what the ramifications of ignoring a document like this from the British court would be. You came prepared then, Eugene? Come on, let's go.
One moment.
What is it, Sholmes?
Inside Mr. Jigoku's trunk, I found this rather fascinating trinket.
What's this? What is that, Seishiro? I can't help you, I'm afraid. Some small component from something.
The watch!
But what? I have no idea. By the look of the face, I think he genuinely doesn't know.
Well, let us pocket as a small souvenir of our brief sojourn in France.
Well, young Naruto, I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. The rest will be on your shoulders, you and your assistant.
Can we go to be continued, please?
We'll hold it right there.
Like, comment, subscribe. Chronicles XP, and I'm signing out.